Hi everyone, I'm Nick Kirkenmeister from Heartland Wines, and we're here with you today to talk about some of the exciting businesses that are right here in your own backyard of the Nord, Payneham and St Peters Council area. So I'm lucky enough today to be joined by Keta from Stonecrop, and I also have right here on my right hand side, that's left as you're looking at me, Will from ORTC. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
All right, I'm going to start by just kicking off. I think we're just going to tell you what we do and where we are, and then we'll see where this conversation goes. So I'm Heartland Wines, and we are opposite the Nord Oval, and we make wines from Langhorne Creek, cracking reds, but I'm probably the least multifaceted person sitting at this table because I'm about to ask Keta where she is and what she does. This might take some time.
Well, I'm Keta from Stonecrop Plants and Accessories and Banksia Boutique in Hackney. Our Hackney store is our newest store. We have another store on Goodwood Road that we started about 4 years ago.
Cumberland Park, yeah?
Yes, yeah, Cumberland Park. So the Hackney store is meant to be our expansion to just the plants. We now offer a bit of fashion, furniture, jewellery, gifting, all of that.
And where in Hackney are you?
So we're on Richmond Street, so where the old Hackney Hotel was.
Yeah.
Down that street, everyone knows it as sort of the thoroughfare to get through to the avenues.
You know you're South Australian when you guide people by where pubs used to be.
Yeah.
I think that you've nailed it. Now, I've always associated you with indoor plants in particular, but there is a lot more to what you did. And you mentioned accessories and I think jewellery is part of it now. How did that come about?
Well, I just wanted to diversify a little bit. I obviously love plants and we're still very much a plant store because of the services that we offer as well with our styling and horticulture services. But I think, I had the opportunity to expand a little bit. There was a market for it. I think I have a good eye and, I just wanted
clearly
to...
people agree with you.
I wanted to expand on that and see where it took us. And when we found out, we call it the church, the building in Hackney, became available for lease, I had to jump on it, not only because it's such a beautiful historic building, it's so close to where my first job was, and that was at the pub, when I was 15, so many years ago. So I felt like it was just the perfect spot to, kind of go full circle and expand on the dream.
I feel like our little neighbourhood really attracts these vital and evolving businesses. And of course, I'm right here with Will from ORTC, and I don't think there could be a clearer example of a great South Australian success story. I nearly got that right. Will, give us a little bit of background as to where your business came from and where you are now and what's happening.
Very kind. Thanks for the kind words. So I'm from ORTC Clothing, proudly South Australian, established, and we're based here. So about 6 years ago, my business partner, Charlie Hender, and I started a little accessories label called ORTC Man, sort of in that 21st season where we're going to events and sort of, just sort of kicking around at uni and sort of didn't have much direction at the time. We sort of identified a bit of a gap in the market. We're sort of, everyone's going to these events and wearing their dad's tyres or, sort of daggy accessories. And we sort of thought, hey, that could be a bit of a fun business to start. So I had a contact with one of my old bosses actually, who had a contact overseas. So we thought, let's try and make some tyres. So we had no business experience, no design experience. We had no idea really. So we got a picture off Google of a beautiful Raffler and tie and sent this to some friends overseas to make a sample. So we paid the money. I'm very excited. So I remember it was a navy tie with a really nice red and white stripe through it. So we sent that off to get them to make the sample. And then sure enough, about a month later, very excited, sent with FedEx, got this package, thinking we're going to be away here. And it arrived. It was a black polyester tie with a silver and red stripe. And we sort of looked at each other and went, oh, we've got this wrong. So that was sort of initially it was all right, we're going to sort of, we're going to learn a few things here. So anyway, we spent a few months sort of getting some designs together and understanding textiles and all these sorts of things. We had no idea, like cotton, linen, silk, all these different types of materials we could use for ties, we were doing some pointed ties, some bow ties, and cotton linen ties. So anyway, we got our first little range together, which was really exciting, and started selling it through my mum's shop, which is One Rundle Trading Company.
Right.
So that's where the name sort of comes from. So we leveraged off her brand initially, which was an amazing sort of, opened some doors for us and sort of initially gave us some recognition sort of as a brand. So we started as ORTC Man, which was great. Sold the accessories, and I think initially it was people just were trying to support us because we're having a crack. Like we look back on it now and go, wow, like.
Going from that I suppose slightly inauspicious beginning, you've shown enormous tenacity, and now we see your clothing, your products, not just all around the country, but all around the world.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It must be somewhat daunting though when you see these things on Bondi Beach or in Paris.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's cool, but wow.
It is cool. It's like, and I was saying before we obviously jumped on here, everyone was saying like, is it cool? Yeah, it is cool. Like you never get sick of seeing it. And I think if you did get sick of seeing it or think you're too cool for that, like, what's the point in doing what you're doing? Like we love what we do and we're so proud of our brands. Like every time, I walk down the parade and see, a young fella wearing a hoodie or something, like you get a kick out of it. It's sweet.
And Keta, thinking about how Charlie and Will got started, you and Lenny, what was the impetus to begin doing what you do now?
It was honestly a love for like homewares, indoor plants, all of that sort of an interior design, but more angling into plant styling because, I started, we both as a couple started getting really into our indoor plants. I thought, hang on, there's a gap in the market for this. And we thought, we'll do like a boutique plant shop, and we've really focused on obviously quality plants, but the styling aspect more so. I think what made us sort of unique and drove us to do it is kind of the way that we set up our stores. It's, I guess, very visually appealing. It's easy to sort of go to, a hardware store and pick up a few plants, but the inspiration isn't quite there. So we just wanted to sort of, I guess, create a marketplace where all of that is set out for everyone and inspire people.
I mean, I love red wine, so I make red wine. That's pretty simple. But it seems that for both of you, so much of what you've managed to accomplish has also been about good timing, that indoor plants are now a vital part of most thinking person's interior design.
Yeah.
It wasn't always that way.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. If you look back at history, I think a lot of indoor plants were around in sort of like the 70s, 80s. You'd see that, but then they sort of disappeared for a while. It did come back into the groove and kind of boomed around the time of COVID as well. I mean, we were all stuck at home and, looking around our homes thinking, how can we better them and how can we kind of spruce it up a little bit? And, lucky for us, a lot of people supported us through that time and we were able to grow the business, through providing a bit of leafy happiness. So, yeah.
And Will, thinking about the work you've been doing with Charlie all this time now, and you talked about the early looks that were created, but going through your range now, there's this combination of classic elegance, but also it's a little bit of funky, quirky going on at the same time. How do you get that balance right?
It's a good question. So Charlie's actually sort of more the creative director with design, so that's really Charlie's space. But like us, obviously, we both have input into that. I suppose we've tried to create a brand that's timeless, and I think you got it spot on there. So like everything we do, we'd like to think is cool now, and you look at it in 10 years, it's still the jumper might be worn and it might be nice and like almost not vintage, but it's going to be cool in the future. We don't really use any like outrageous colors or outrageous designs. We really do kind of stay in our lane with our design and our sort of, I suppose, what we're trying to create. And I suppose that the timeless quality sort of shown through our design.
We talked before with Keta about the physical space. Now, where are you at the moment and where are you planning on being?
Yes, so we have got our warehouse in Norwood, so 33 King Street, Norwood. So we've got all our staff are based there. So our offices and our dispatch. So all of our e-commerce, wholesale, everything's dispatched through there. We're rapidly growing and running out of space there. So I'm not sure quite how long that space is going to remain on King Street for. We're sort of, it's getting very tight quickly. We've got a little shop in our front room there. So it's sort of like a warehouse shop, which we've converted, which is great. So people can come and do click and collect. So, they'll purchase online and come and collect it. We've also got a retail space in there as well. So that's been great for the last few years for people to be able to come and touch and feel our products. It's probably it's quite a small little room. It's probably not the most welcoming environment to sort of shop and browse. So we're very excited to be opening a shop on the Parade.
Cool.
Which I haven't told anyone yet, so that's news to the podcast. So we're opening a beautiful retail space in the old Eckler site.
Right.
Yep. And so we've just signed the contract, got the keys. We've got a few months of works to happen, and hopefully open in mid-September.
And for those who don't know where Eckler is, we're talking about the Nord Oval end of the Parade, not
correct.
far from where that is now.
Yep. I believe it's 66 of the Parade. I probably should check that. But I know where it is.
Well, I think that's a very good start, Will. Keta, there is one other question that's just been burning in my mind. We talked about the classic nature of what Will and Charlie do at ORTC, but clearly at Stonecrop, there's an evolution, particularly with the indoor plants and the styling and what people are looking for in their home. Is this a seasonal thing? Is this an annual thing? How often are you seeing things change? How quickly do you need to evolve what your business does?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's always a need. Well, for the 4 years that we've been doing it, there's always a need for plants. People come to us wanting our services, so styling their homes with plants or their businesses, things like that. So I guess we've evolved in getting really good at doing that side of things as well, and the support through teaching people how to care for their plants. And we do have repeat customers because of that as well. So being able to teach people so that they come back, and if they have some bad luck with their plants or things like that. So I don't know, I guess for us, and evolving in another direction would be like offering more. So like I said, kind of just offering more of what we sell and doing banks. Yeah, we had the space, the clothing, sorry. We had the space in the building to expand that. So I've sort of separated the plants and the fashion. And I don't know.
Without butting in, I remember I've bought plants off Keta, and it's actually really nice to go there and buy something and have it explained to you how to look after it. And
I mean, we're coming to you today from Reform Distilling, which is another fantastic local business, exemplary gins, and it's a great little space here on Little Rundle. So we're all outside our day-to-day comfort zones. But Keta, this is pretty normal for you. You're part of what you do is actually going in and consulting with either private people or with businesses about what they might have. I mean, we're here at Reform, and I'm seeing we've got some plants here as well. Amazing. It's just everywhere, right?
Yeah,
so how much of that is important for what you're doing?
A lot. I'd say that I'm only in the shop about 2 days a week now because I'm out, I call it on the road a lot, just consulting, doing installations. That honestly that's my sort of passion through the business as well. So as much as I love being in the shops and being with the girls, and it's such a nice energy in there, I get to really follow sort of a few passion projects of mine and meet amazing people and businesses and be invited into people's homes and really help them kind of transform.
Absolutely. And I think that really is the core of what we're talking about today. There is so much vibrant activity right here in what everyone thinks are these green, leafy suburban suburbs. There's so much vitality, so much going on that you need to be aware of, whether it's Reform Distilling just around the corner doing stunning gins, my absolutely brilliant red wines, or talking to Keta, talking to Lenny about all these fantastic opportunities to rework what you have inside your own space. Or maybe for now, going online and having a look at what ORTC are creating in your very own backyard, changing worldwide fashion. And looking forward to checking out the new space when that's available on the Parade. And of course, popping down to Hackney to see what Keta's up to. Will, Keta, thank you so much for your time today. Absolutely brilliant to meet you both. And guys, you know what you have to do? go out and find out what's happening in your own backyard. Thanks again. Goodbye.